ROG is famous for its high-quality esports products, is back again, but this time it is not an announcement of laptops, but its new esports mobile phone, the ROG Phone 6 series. In this latest ROG Phone 6 gaming phone, it is not only equipped with the strongest Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 in history, but also a more handsome appearance and a series of accessories to match. Thanks to ROG for sending the ROG Phone 6 Pro version in advance, so that I can test the phone in advance and share the experience of using the phone with players. For some reason, there are quite a few products that want to rush out of outer space this year, including the ROG Phone 6 series of gaming phones. But the editor wants to say a word here. The appearance of ROG Phone 6 Pro in this regard can be said to be far superior to the appearance of other products, and the packaging alone is enough to attract attention. When I opened the box of my phone, it felt like I was really developing a space capsule. It was really cool. Of course, the packaging box is so handsome, and the main body of the mobile phone is naturally very beautiful. Compared with the previous generation of ROG Phone 5 Ultimate, the back of this phone will be much more refined than the previous generation. In addition to more decorations, ROG Vision is not in the center of the back of the phone, but is biased towards the frame. Although I have always preferred phones with low-key appearances, the existence of ROG Phone 6 Pro can be said to have changed my view of products with gorgeous appearances. The back of the phone is not glass, but a plastic similar to a matte finish, which is quite comfortable to touch, and because the phone is not heavy, even if you hold the phone for a long time, your hands will not get sore. Moreover, the back of this phone not only has ROG Vision, but also a slogan of Dare to Play, which will light up along with ROG Vision, as long as the player turns on the phone screen. Players can change the color of this LED light in Armoury Crate, although it seems to have only static settings at present, but players can synchronize with Armoury Crate on the computer. In terms of interfaces, they are basically on the left and lower sides of the phone. There's a USB Type-C and SIM card slot on the left side of the phone, and another USB Type-C and 3.5mm headphone jack on the lower side. Yes, the headphone jack that disappeared on the ROG Phone 5 series is back on the ROG Phone 6 series. As for the right side, in addition to the power button and volume adjustment button, there are also two air triggers without physical buttons. The screen used on the ROG Phone 6 Pro is a 6.78-inch Samsung E4 screen panel, and it also supports a refresh rate of up to 165 Hz. Such a high refresh rate is rare even in the most advanced laptops or monitors, let alone mobile phones, which also means that playing FPS on this mobile phone can get a considerable advantage. Moreover, the sampling rate of the mobile phone screen is as high as 720 Hz, and there will be absolutely no input delay. In terms of color performance, the phone's screen also shines, both in description and literal. The phone screen has a 111% DCI-P3 color gamut and HDR technology, so that games like League of Legends, Wild Rift with vivid graphics can be perfectly rendered on the phone screen. The dual speaker system used by ROG Phone 6 Pro is not in the position of the frame, but is hidden in the gap between the screen and the frame, so when players hold the phone horizontally to play games, they do not need to worry about the gripping posture. Covering the speaker will affect the quality of the sound output by the mobile phone. The volume of the mobile phone is just right for the editor, and the sound quality is also very clear, which can clearly distinguish various sounds. The ROG Phone 6 Pro is powered by the latest and most powerful Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 chipset, and with up to 18 gigs of RAM. The performance of this phone is remarkable just by looking at the hardware. In Antutu's performance test, it also broke through the million barrier, reaching 1,102,155 points, which is really amazing. At the highest frame rate setting of the highest quality, ROG Phone 6 Pro will definitely be able to run the game smoothly without any problems at all. After all, mobile phones use the latest and most powerful hardware, and it is certain that they can run masterpieces stably. But what surprised me was the temperature of the phone. Even without the use of accessories, the phone can stably maintain between 40 degrees centigrade and 43 degrees centigrade when running Genshin Impact, which is quite rare and very good. The Armoury Crate on the ROG Phone 6 Pro has a nicer and cleaner user interface than the previous generation, but the actual difference isn't that big. What surprised me the most was the change in the in-game menu Game Genie. Compared with the menu that looked a bit ordinary in the previous generation, this time in terms of vision, it looks like driving in a space capsule, which is very handsome. Players can use Game Genie to open and set a series of content, such as the refresh rate of the screen, the operating mode of the mobile phone, etc. Players will also need to set air triggers, dynamic operations and other functions here. In addition, this generation of Game Genie also has a new feature, which is the ability to set the crosshairs. The front sight has 6 different shapes and 5 different colors for players to choose from, and can also be changed in size and transparency. The strange thing is that the player can also drag the position of the crosshair, which may be needed in some games. Although the ROG Vision on the ROG Phone 6 Pro has changed its position, there is no change in functionality at all. In addition to more limited patterns and effects in this generation, players can also set their own special effects in Armoury Crate. It is not difficult to appearance your own special effects. The air triggers on the ROG Phone 6 Pro are really rich in functionality, and there is a whole new feature on the air triggers on this phone. In addition to common clicks, players can also set this virtual button to slide and swipe. Even if you want to split a button into two, it's not a problem. But the best thing is the new dual operation mode. This dual operation mode allows one air trigger to have several different settings, allowing players to combine click settings with swiping or swiping. That is to say, as long as this setting is turned on, in addition to clicking, the player can also use the swipe or swipe function at the same time. In short, a virtual trigger can have at least 3 different purposes. Although this feature is currently in beta, it is already very useful. In terms of trigger sensitivity, there are still 10 different levels for players to adjust. The system default is at the 4th level, and I think this preset sensitivity is just right. The dynamic operation of ROG Phone 6 Pro can be used in many different ways. In addition to being able to tilt in 4 different directions, it can also rotate to the left and right, shake, move forward, left and right, a total of 10 different trigger method. Although there are 3 different sensitivity settings, I actually think that only the highest sensitivity setting is more practical. Even if it is set to medium sensitivity, I need to make a considerable movement to trigger this function, which will slightly affect the experience when playing games. However, if it is set at the highest sensitivity, even a small action can trigger the function, which is much more practical in comparison, and will also improve the game experience relatively. In fact, the introduction of ROG Phone 6 in terms of camera modules will be a bit vague. The official has clearly stated that the main lens of the mobile phone is Sony's IMX766 lens, and it is a 50 megapixel lens. However, the official did not give much information on the ultra-wide-angle lens and macro lens attached to the mobile phone module. After all, this is a mobile phone dedicated to playing games, so the requirements for the lens are actually not too big. Even so, the photos taken by the phone are still very beautiful and clear. With powerful hardware, battery life will inevitably be affected. However, this is not a problem for ROG Phone 6 Pro, because this phone is equipped with a dual battery appearance of 6000 mAh, which only consumes about 40% after playing games and watching movies for 4.5 hours. Although this may sound a bit ordinary, during the period when I tested this phone, I kept the phone running under the X mode setting, and this setting will increase the operating ability of the phone to the highest level. It will also increase the power consumption relatively. In addition, the refresh rate of the mobile phone screen will also be maintained at 144 Hz, which is one of the reasons for improving the power consumption. Based on these reasons, the editor thinks that the battery life of ROG Phone 6 Pro is very good. As for charging, this phone supports 65-watt fast charging technology, and it only takes about half an hour to start charging to 100% at about 25%, which is quite fast. ROG Phone 6 Pro can be said to be the king of kings in terms of hardware, not only using the most innovative Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 chipset, but also 18 gigs of memory. With phones with this hardware, no matter what games you want to run, it will not only be smooth, but also ensure that the phone stays cool. Even if the Aero Active Cooler 6 was not used, the phone could still ensure that the temperature was maintained at a normal level when running Genshin Impact. If you use a radiator, the temperature will become more excellent, but you will feel the warm air blowing through your fingers when playing. Excellent performance and heat dissipation, combined with air triggers and dynamic operation functions, make this phone not only a masterpiece of mobile games at runtime, but also very simple to operate complex games. If players are looking for the strongest gaming phone at the moment, then the ROG Phone 6 Pro will be the best choice. What do you think about the new generation of gaming smartphone? Write your opinion in the comments below. Thanks for watching, have a nice day and see you soon.